MCC Season 3 is about to begin, and what better way to kick it off than needlessly looking through VODs to find the best route of the new Ace Race map. Today, we're going to be looking at every MCC 28 VOD to find the best possible shortcuts and skips on Yeti Set Go. Now buckle up everyone, because the first checkpoint is by far the longest and the one with the most paths. Because of its length, we're going to be breaking up checkpoint 1 into 4 different segments. Segment 1 sees you jump into the water from the start line and gives you an option to trident into 3 different paths. The most common path was staying on the floor and using the speed pads to simply run to the end. Blushy got the fastest time in this route with a 9.15 due to a good boost with her trident. Another path involves going to the left side of the track and using these 2 jump pads to propel you forward. H-Bomb had the fastest run with this one, getting a 10.55, more than a second slower than Blushy's. The final path involves tridenting on top of and jumping across these platforms to reach a jump pad which propels you to the end of the segment. This path was the fastest recorded split of this segment. Antfrost got an 8.6 using this path. It's relatively easy to set up, so we'd recommend trying this path out. Segment 2 involves parkouring across ice blocks, followed by an area where you can either take stairs to reach the end, or use a vertical jump pad. Captain Puffy had the fastest time using the stairs at 7.9, and Purpled had the best time of 7.25 using the vertical jump pad. This path is pretty straightforward. Most top times were achieved using the vertical jump pad route, so that's what we recommend doing. Just make sure you line up your jump well, as the jump is a little bit tricky. Segment 3 is also pretty straightforward. A series of jump pads to help you reach a water elevator. Players who went right or left in their pathing had a negligible difference in times, so just pick whichever you'd like. Purpled got a top time of 9.4, but interestingly, there's an alternate path you can go. On the 3rd jump pad, there is a 1x2 gap you can jump through in the middle, which brings you to a body of water in which you can trident into the water elevator. Illumina had the quickest time at 9.6, but we have to think that with a bit more optimization, this is the fastest path you can take in this segment, as he only got to try it once. Segment 4 starts off with you going up a watery elevator and having the option of going with a pretty linear jump and speed pad route, or you can trident straight forward by aiming at the window to bypass some of the running portions. Although Bad Boy Halo got the fastest split of this segment by using the window skip, JoJo got a time of 6.8 using the running path, only a 10th of a second behind Bad's time. Our numbers don't show a clear best option, as players were able to get very similar times using both methods, so just pick whichever you feel comfortable with. Checkpoint 2 is definitely more straightforward than 1, as it consists of an elytra portion into a cave system, and that's pretty much it. You'll see there are jump and speed pads on the floor, but you'll pretty much never want to use them. None of the 40 participants in MCC 28 got their best time with them. What did give players their best time was keeping their elytra for the entirety of the checkpoint, having 2 different paths to choose from. You can follow the natural cave path for a wide turn to the end of the checkpoint, or you can take a sharp turn to the right when you see this red jump pad. In this path, you will see a narrow tunnel you can fly through that will take you straight to the end of the checkpoint. This is most definitely the fastest route, as all of the top 5 times, including Phil's top time of 8.4, were made using this path. It isn't too difficult if you know it's coming, and the upside is probably worth it. Now we're back with the convoluted routes in checkpoint 3, but let's do our due diligence and cover the basics. We can break down the areas of the checkpoint into 2 sections. The first where you must cross a frozen lake, and the second where you use vertical jump pads, scale a mountain which leads to the end of the checkpoint. Starting with the mountain portion, every participant used this linear path of vertical jump pads to scale it. So let's stick to the frozen lake section for now. There were several ways players attempted to cross this path, but the most straightforward path was going straight ahead while using your trident to jump through the water, with Illumina getting the fastest time on this route at 17.25. The second most popular path was foregoing to trident altogether and jumping on the ice to the left of the lake to enter a mini cave. This leads to a jump that can take you straight to the mountain, or something else that we'll talk about later. H-Bomb had the fastest time with this route at 17.3, very close to Illumina's time. Both of these paths had slight variations, but given how close the 2 times were, we'd say that these paths are about equal. Although, quite hilariously, Cubfan had the fastest time in this checkpoint by simply tridenting under the ice without even leaving the water, managing to score a 16.75. We definitely recommend this as the safe option, simply because of how easy it is to do. But with that being said, let's take a look at some of the paths that weren't attempted by the players. First off, right at the end of the frozen lake at the right-hand corner, there's an elevated speed and jump pad. If you trident from the water onto the platform, the pads can give you a head start on the mountain section, and can be potentially faster than the traditional routes. But to be honest, if you want to try a brand new skip, you want to go for the water pillar skip. Beginning on the left side route, if you look up, you can see a slight opening where you'd be able to trident into. It leads to a water elevator where you can trident straight into the last area of the checkpoint, completely bypassing the mountain section entirely. For the amount of time saved, this path really might be worth a shot. Checkpoint 4 starts with an elytra dive down a ski path, which will bring you to the ground level. level. Similar to checkpoint 2, you will see speed and jump pads on the floor, but you'll be wanting to avoid these like before. The elytra portion ends when you reach a cliff where you'll have to scale it using a vertical jump pad. Tubbo had the fastest time of this traditional route at 10.35, but it wouldn't really be a Yeti Set Go checkpoint without a few secret skips. Philza did this impressive maneuver with his elytra, using his downward momentum to scale the entire cliff without even touching the ground, and therefore got a full second quicker than Tubbo's time with a 9.35. Additionally, there is a skip that cuts to the right of the path, requiring you to dip down quickly to the right. Cubfan was able to do this skip, but was only able to get an 11.9. It's unclear if this route is more viable than Philza's, as Cub didn't get the best execution of the skip, and it's probably not possible to do both, as there isn't enough momentum to carry you up the cliff in Cub's method. We'd say Philza's path is the better option, as it's more proven and a lot easier to pull off. For the final checkpoint, we've got a bit of an easy one to end with. You'll be met with 2 consecutive jump pads, which will lead to a sliding door section where you'll have to predict which path will be open. After that, a jump pad into a water elevator where you'll want a decent boost from your trident, with an optional body of water in which you trident into the end. There's not much to say here, but you'll want to use your trident at every opportunity you get here, and remember that the sliding doors are a bit faster than you think. And with that, our VOD review is finally finished, so let's take a look at technically the best route of Yeti Set Go as of MCC 28.
I really just saw what games we were on, and I'm like, 8 laps!
See you later, puns.
What do you mean? 4 laps my fucking ass? He knows the method, frankly, and most people don't. He just knows how to get it done.
And it's basically ping and luck based. Like, that's actually my favorite part.
There we go, trident bit. Let's go. Light.
This bit we don't bother with landing. We just do this.
Actively in the kitchen. Like, actively. There's 4 laps!